Good morning and welcome to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. Today we are going to be talking about focusing on our physical health and the self care that goes along with it. This month, we're going to be talking a lot about it as we're just arriving into 2024. And of course, everyone is trying to get on the good foot and do what they do to get themselves in shape and get themselves on a better regiment to stay healthy, to, do a lot of different things. And one of the things that, Tremaine and I like to talk about is having that level of consistency, and doesn't matter how things are going, just get started, and that level of consistency is going to be important. Tremaine, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, and about a level of consistency is good, but you also want to be able to not compare yourself to other people who are on the same journey that you are on.
Oh, absolutely,
You are
absolutely.
you, and they are them, and everyone's different. It's okay if you start from a place lower than them or higher than them. Everybody's trying to go through the journey together.
Absolutely. I'm one of those persons that will actually tell people all the time that I am the biggest modifier when it comes to things. I like to say all the time that I follow things loosely. And when I say I follow things loosely, like I don't follow things to the T. I still try to figure out, how does it work best for me? You know what I mean? Like, how does someone saying eat healthy every day, how would that be incorporated into my lifestyle of eating healthy every day? There might be some pieces and some parts that might be in there that might not be the most healthiest. But again, I'm one of those persons who will tell you in a minute, I'm not going cold turkey off of anything. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, Tremaine, when, start where you are. So when we're talking about physical health and the self care examples, I pulled up a few as I was doing some research. And one of the big ones is talking about eating a healthy meal, starting with healthy meals. We've gone through a lot of differences in, making sure that in our household we're eating more colors, and we're eating the leafy greens, and we're eating less meat and changing over some of the meat to more lean meats. But with healthy meals, there's a lot of things that come along with that. And that could be just adding certain things to your diet, that could be good for you. Protein is a big one. Tremaine, what are some of the things you can think of as far as eating healthy meals? What are some examples of some healthy meals that you think come into play when you're talking about eating healthy?
Definitely your fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we don't get enough of those in
Oh,
terms
yeah.
of what the average person would get.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think for the most part, when we talk about, fruits and vegetables, I've made it very, apparent in our household that we will do fruits and vegetables on a weekly basis, picking them up, the fresh produce and stuff. But then when it becomes wintertime, well, fruits and vegetables are not always available, or they're not always that tasty. So I've decided to start looking into canned fruits. And those canned fruits are interesting because there's a lot of different things, preservatives and additives and things like that in it, but they taste better. They're almost like having frozen fruit, because I know I've done this before too. I've done the frozen fruit from the summer, and I froze them so that we use them during the winter, kind of like that old school thing. When I was a little girl, I used to see that my grandmother used to like can stuff in the mason jars and stuff like that, and then we had it during the winter time or whatever. But things like that is, kind of where we are now when it comes down to healthy eating, and we can definitely, do things like that. But healthy eating is a big thing that, people dive into. And I tell people sometimes even just taking out the fast food, take the fast food out of your diet. You maybe go to McDonald's 5 days a week to go to work. Maybe cut that down to 2 days a week you go to McDonald's, or 3 days a week you go to McDonald's, and then start, coming down from there. Tremaine, what do you think about, things like that? Even with exercising, engaging in exercising, that's another one. When it comes down to exercising, start working yourself up or down. You know what I mean? Like you walk every
You
day.
have to
Go
Yes, you
ahead.
have to start. You have to start at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it's hard to get rid of certain things that you do, but it's easier to probably lessen it down slow over time versus trying to go cold turkey.
Hmm. And then, of course, talking about, taking just a brisk walk. A brisk walk could be a walk to the garbage can or a walk to the mailbox. That's what I typically do with a lot of my clients. I tell them about taking a walk to the mailbox or taking the dog out for a walk, or I've definitely worked with individuals where I've told them to, walk around in their living room and kind of make it kind of like a little track area. They walk in that, in that direction, just kind of walking around. And a good bit of them, especially when it was COVID, it was just interesting at that time. A good bit of folks did stay inside and did, kind of create those little walking areas in the house and moved around for the most part and get their, 1 mile of walking in, or a half a mile here and there, 2 miles here and there, walking through their house. So that's definitely a big thing. Water intake, that's a physical one. That's a
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a physical health self-care that everyone can get on and be probably successful as long as you're getting 1 bottle of water in. It doesn't have to be tons and tons of water, but as long as you're getting more water in your system, that's going to be the clincher. What do you think, Tremaine?
Oh yeah, it definitely helps out. I mean, just every little bit can help out.
Oh, absolutely,
It,
absolutely.
it's more of a it's
Hmm.
more of a compound thing, to try to get healthy, where you gotta watch it, you know, do the right exercises, and and the one thing I think schools never taught us in school was about the different, like, how you learn to do certain things, in like how you learn to do a push up is complete is like taught to us one way. There's one way to do a push up, right?
Hmm.
But no, there are like multiple ways to do a push up if you needed to. That
Hmm.
could compensate for if you were a heavier set person and it's not quite as easy for you to do all that at once.
Hmm.
I'm like, there are things that, and I think I'm like, that's a good way to get people to do the exercises without feeling like, well, I'm just living up to somebody else's standard.
Oh, absolutely. That totally makes sense. Yeah. You have to be like I always say, I'm the modified queen. I say that in my dance classes. I'm the modified queen. I will modify almost every move to make sure that I can get good form and make sure that I can, carry it out and feel, the burn I need to feel, or, whatever it is I need to be feeling for whatever exercise it is normally. But I tell people all the time, I'm not going to do more. I'll go over and beyond when I know I can't keep my legs straight, to bend over or whatever the case may be. If I got to bend my knees a little, I will. So it's just modifying the different things that you do. Again, talking about some more physical health self-care would be monitoring your sleep at night, getting yourself a good night of sleep, doing some good sleep hygiene. And I know you guys have heard me mention the sleep hygiene before, that I take a few nights a week to go to bed at 7 o'clock or right at 8 o'clock so I can sleep in the next morning, or get up at my regular time the next morning and keep things going. But I do that so that I can get my body not only regimented to, going to bed and doing things that need to be doing, but also to the fact that I'm getting good sleep. I always tell people, if you think you're going to be on, especially with physical health, if you're going to be on a quote unquote weight loss journey, or I'm going to, build muscle, I'm going to be, lifting weights and things like that. You have to be able to get good sleep after a workout and be able to get, good sleep to restore your muscles and things of that nature. So I tell people all the time, staying hydrated and sleeping, those are two big parts of, wanting to get your body to be more healthier. What are your thoughts on those, Tremaine?
Absolutely. You don't think about how much like sleep to
Helps you with your weight and everything, because a lot of a lot of the fatigue and things of that nature is just stuff that's gonna make you, I guess, regress and like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't, I'm also tired from yesterday's workout. And I mean, if you sleep well, it's not as bad.
Uh-huh.
Or it or your first step might be a little harder, but getting the correct amount of sleep also helps so that you can recover. Just
Mm-hmm.
and like that's the cycle of you working out. You sleep to recover your muscles,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
it's one of the things that that is much more fundamental. You want people to I mean, you work out hard, and then you eat well and you rest well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And one of the things I'm going to throw in here with physical health, self-care, I think a big thing is just stretching in general. I tell people all the time, if you cannot get a walk in, because it's cold right now, if you can't get a walk in, you can't get a run in, you can't get, maybe a weightlifting, you can't lift or whatever, for whatever reason, you can't do whatever you're going to do. Stretching is also a major part of staying healthy that I don't think people realize. If you're stretching yourself, you are definitely, using those muscles and getting those muscles a little bit more flexible. And I think that's what people don't realize as we get older, that we lose a lot of flexibility. That was one thing the doctors, have definitely mentioned, and research has been on that we lose a lot of flexibility as we get older. And I think people don't realize how much stretching would be good for them when they're doing when they don't have time to really exercise. And yeah, so that's always a good thing. I tend to have a cup of tea and stretch out sometimes just to get my body going. And having that cup of tea is real soothing for me. So sometimes I tell people, just being able to relax and do something that's going to be less strenuous. Stretching is one of those ones. What are your thoughts, Tremaine?
Um, I can think of reason why people have that idea of like why they find stretching technique why people don't usually stretch. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you think of stretching poses, but there's dynamic stretching as well that
Mm-hmm.
you're still moving.
Yes.
I know I watched a YouTube video that told us, before you start the workout, you do more dynamic stretches where you're
Mm-hmm.
actually, somewhat moving in the stretch.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And when I saw it, I was like, well, this is what people need. This is what a kid needs to hear in gym class.
Mm-hmm.
Dynamic stretching and things like that. I mean, because static stretching is nice, but a dynamic stretch is you're actually moving a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. That totally makes sense. So yeah, when you're doing more of the dynamic stretching, I tell people a lot of times too, that's a way of really getting a good body stretch, a good body, getting your body ready for a great workout. And it gets you all warmed up and gets you all limber and everything else, you know what I mean? So yeah, love it, love it, love it. All right. So one of the things also when we're talking about trying to maintain and get situated when it comes down to our physical health, and this is one that Tremaine, you're gonna probably laugh because I struggle with it. Limiting snacks. I struggle with that one. And Tremaine can be my witness that, yeah, I am one of those persons that will tell you in a minute. I am going to try to create some healthy snacks, which I have created some healthy snacks with yogurt and some fruit, and sometimes canned fruit, or sometimes the little packaged fruits or whatever. But I am a big sweet eater. I love sweets. And because I love sweets so much, that's why I drink plenty of water. And that's why I always tend to have my sweets um, earlier in the day so that I can go ahead and work it out, during as I'm, walking through the day and doing the work that I have to do during the day. But that is a big thing, limiting the snacks. I am limiting the snacks though to maybe once or twice a day, but when I have a snack, I really have a snack, right, Tremaine?
Um, I mean, it's all fine within moderation as long as you're keeping up with like how much you're eating and things of that nature. I
Oh,
don't think anything is really. I've come to the point where I don't think anything is a bad thing.
mhm.
It depends on how you moderate yourself.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, people say, "Oh, did you cut out sugar?" Well, I'm not drinking, I'm not eating sugar like from like white sugar. I'm not eating that, but I am focusing on making sure that I do, get to a point where I'm not eating as much sweets. You know what I mean? But everything that I do try to make sure that I'm, putting into my body is going to be healthy for the most part. And the things that I know that are not healthy, again, you like you said, Tremaine, moderation is going to be the key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But a lot of times, I think people don't realize that when we're talking about physical self-care, we're talking about taking care of taking care of yourself physically and making sure that you are in a position where you can, work on your immune system, making sure that you're boosting it and making sure that it's functioning correctly. You also want to work on your physical self-care in order to um, reduce the amount of stress and the amount of different issues and things that are coming up. You want to be able to handle that a little bit better. You definitely, with reducing stress, you want to increase, well, stress typically will increase your cortisol levels. And with that being said, you want to be able to start de-stressing and kind of blowing things out so that you would be able to take care of yourself in a way that your immune system can fight your stress level, your mind, your brain can fight against things that are happening. And then also, at this time of the year, of course, we're worried about when we say the immune system, we're worried about all these different germs that are coming at us right now. But doing physical health care, I mean, physical self care will put you in a position where, you'll be better, you'll be more in a preventative state, you'll be more proactive, you'll be definitely in a point where you would be able to handle some of these things that are coming at us nowadays when it comes down to COVID, the flu, and different things like that. So but with that, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break, and we'll be back after these messages. Hi, this is Dr. Latasha McElwain, and I would like to introduce my first book. The name of my first book is Fragile Brokenness: The Unspoken Secrets That Shape a Pretty Unprotected Girl into a Practicing Clinician and Therapist. My key phrase is, when life gave me lemons, I gave life a doctor. I hope this would be an inspiring read for everyone, with inspiring experiences and heavy experiences that will bring about the importance of being self-aware, dealing with traumas, and being focused on your mental health wellness. The proof is in the journey. I hope you enjoy my book, Fragile Brokenness: The Unspoken Secrets That Shape a Pretty Unprotected Girl into a Practicing Clinician and Therapist. Sales begin December 2023. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. So today we're talking about your physical health and the self-care that goes behind it to make sure that you're going to stay on track for the new year. And one of the things we were talking about is wanting to make sure that everyone realize that you can take care of yourself every day. And a lot of your everyday scenarios are things that you can just do as a part of, getting better at taking care of yourself. So one of the things that I'm always mention is taking care of yourself, making sleep a part of your self-care routine. So making sleep a part of your physical health care routine would be, health self-care routine would be you looking at maybe going to sleep an hour earlier. maybe some nights making sure you're getting a full maybe 8 hours versus the 4 or 5 hours that a lot of people do get. Treat yourself to a night of jumping in bed early, and then thinking about taking care of your gut health, which we talked about that a little bit earlier as well, as far as eating more healthier foods. Maybe give yourself a challenge where you actually are doing different things. I myself, I tend to fast. Some people just tend to have a healthy, breakfast. Not that much for lunch, or a mediocre lunch, and then a real good dinner. So everyone have different ways of doing things, but trying to add some more, I guess, volume to making sure that you're eating healthier. Tremaine, what kind of thoughts do you have with those?
Um, I can, I only can agree because a lot of every little bit counts.
Yeah. Hmm.
Even if you don't think, oh, this isn't a big deal. It's not a major change. You don't need big major changes. You just need small changes that you can stay consistent with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just like when we were talking about exercising earlier, and I was saying it could be just a routine that you start where you just walk into the mailbox every day. Are you just going down the street and coming back? Are you just, going and walking your backyard? Or you decide you're gonna park the car at the all the way at the end so you can walk all the way up to the store and go into the store. You know what I mean? Just different things like that could be real simple, but small adjustments, right?
Right. You don't want it to feel like a chore because you don't want to do a chore.
That's correct. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Another thing to think about when you're talking about your physical health is people don't realize their stress level plays a factor in physical health too. So when we're talking about stress levels, I tell people sometimes we have to adjust ourselves on the part of being able to say no and being able to say yes when it's appropriate, you know, taking care of ourselves in that way. And that plays into your physical health as well, because like I said, the stress piece comes into play, and the emotions that come along with different things. These things will tucker you out. They will make you tired when you realize that you're always putting forward your best effort, and maybe you're not getting it back, or you always have to do certain things. So these things affect your physical health as well. I tell people all the time, we talk about physical health, we talk about financial health, we talk about mental health, we talk about emotional health, we talk about all different types, all different types of health, but we have to realize that all of them play a role in what we're trying to do for ourselves, and trying to stay quote unquote healthy, right?
Yeah. It's not a it's not make it like we've said time and time again, it's not big sweep. You're not gonna make it with big sweeping changes. You're gonna make it with small incremental changes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And just making sure that you're taking care of yourself. You know what? When we mentioned gut health just now, I want to jump back into that, because when we're talking about the gut health, not only the foods that we're eating, but making sure the foods that we're eating are the right foods, and that you are getting the bacteria that you need in your stomach to make sure that you're digesting well. That was something that kind of jumped into my I guess just some things to realize what was going on back in November, when one of my doctors told me that you have to keep your bacteria's levels kind of balanced for the most part, to make sure your stomach is definitely able to digest your food. And I was like, oh wow. So, to be honest with you, they say gut health can lead to, a person being very unhappy, and, vice versa, the person being very happy. So I tell people we have to be mindful of, how we're taking care of ourselves and how we're looking at different things. So, um, and then, again, like I said, that totally makes sense when it comes down to, if a person, I know for me, if I had a tummy ache, I'm not the best person to talk to, right, Tremaine?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, so we got to be mindful of that in definitely making sure that we're, trying to take care of ourselves in a lot of different ways, and and know what we're doing, keep up with different things that we're eating, keep it up with the different things that we're doing. So I tell people, it's just like clockwork. If my arm starts hurting, I'm trying to figure out, what did I do to start my arm hurting? Where was my arm today? Did I push something? Did I pull something? Did I pick something up? It's the same thing. If my tummy start hurting, what did I eat? What did I eat for my stomach to go off like this? Why is my stomach hurting? If I have a tummy ache, I mean, different things. It's that's just how and most of us try to retrack everything we did to figure out what could have made whatever feel the way it's feeling. So I think with that in mind, just being mindful is another big part of understanding that our physical health is very, very important. And, we have to keep up with things. So, with that, we're going to go to a commercial break and we'll be back after these messages. Insightful Options PLLC, providing counseling, consultation, and DWI services in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Contact us at www.insightful-options.com 704-492-1105. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. So, as we're talking about taking care of your physical health, self-care, I want to just kind of go through kind of a little bit of a regimen of a day that people can think about to help, kick in some different things that can help. And Tremaine, you can definitely jump in and help me as we're going here. So in the mornings, waking up, one of the things that I think that can start the day off or start to put into habit is maybe not the whole, because people get a little crazy about this. You don't have to make your bed, but at least pull your covers back so that when you do get back and you're ready to make your bed, or if you do get back and you're not, at a point where you feel like you want to make your bed will at least be pulled back. You know what I mean? So that's something that I always think starts a great day, just pulling the covers back, making sure the covers are pulled back, especially if you're a person that don't sleep all over the bed. Another thing you can think of is getting up in the morning and having a cup of water right by your bed to start your water intake as soon as you wake up or right after you brush your teeth. That's always something that can be added in that helps, with the morning routine, helps with getting yourself up out of bed. Um, of course, you get up, you do your regular routine with getting ready for the day. But I think in having this conversation, it's almost like having more of getting organized and having your first steps to, starting to get healthy. Tremaine, can you think of anything first thing in the morning when you get up? Also, what you're gonna have for breakfast, maybe organizing what you're gonna actually have that morning for breakfast, maybe prepare the night before. Tremaine, any thoughts that you have on that part?
Oh, I agree, but and I would say I also put a little tip in saying that if you like are trying to exercise more, maybe spread. It's not. Don't be afraid to spread your exercise out throughout the day.
That's a good one. I think sometimes, a morning stretch is kind of hard for a lot of people, but starting with the morning stretch is something good, even if it's a 5 minute, you hop out of bed, the first 5 minutes, you just get yourself together doing some neck rolls, getting your arms and kind of your legs, getting a little bit of lunges in. It doesn't have to be a long time. So that would constitute what you're saying, spreading stuff out over the day, right?
Just enough to get your blood pumping is good enough.
Exactly, exactly. And then after, you've gotten yourself together, you're ready to leave the house, I tell people one of the things that I do like doing is to start my day, whether it's before I leave the house or while I'm in the car or as soon as I get to work. I like to start my day with more water, of course, but I like to start my day with a cup of tea. A cup of tea is very helpful to me. Some people like coffee, some people like hot chocolate, some people like a a lot of different things that they start with in the morning. But I love to have a cup of coffee and no, a cup of tea and a cup of water. That's one of my big things. So on my drive to work, I'm drinking water, I'm drinking my tea. It's cold right now, so it warms me up. But still, it's something that's really helpful for me to start my day and get off, to a good start. Tremaine, any thoughts on that part for you?
Um, you said what? Eating?
No, I said have some tea.
I'll have some tea.
Have some tea and some water.
Uh,
Before I get into eating anything, I just have tea and water. It's just to soothe me out.
right. I mean, do something that calms your spirits. That puts you in the mindset to be ready for your day. Just little
Exactly.
routines like that.
Exactly, exactly. And so these are just things we're mentioning, but of course, people can think of many different things as far as trying to organize themselves to have time for themselves and take a minute to, breathe and just really focus on, you know, get, being more healthier in a way. And one of the things that I do too is if I do eat in the mornings, I'm typically fasting in the mornings, but if I do eat in the morning, I try to look at protein more than anything. Protein is something that I do a lot of. That's kind of I would like to have my protein intake up, of course, but that's one of the biggest things that I like to take in is protein. So, of course, I'm definitely looking at different foods that's got more protein content in it. So I do a lot of yogurts. I do a lot of uh, uh, smoothie type drinks or whatever that have the protein in there and different things of that nature. And then some days a week, I'll just, if it's a good day and I'm feeling like I can handle it, I'll go for my meats. So I'll do meats one day, typically a week, but it's still helpful. But like I said, making small changes, adding fruit in, added, vegetables and added salads and all those things is part of taking care of your health. And looking throughout the day as you're going throughout the day, I take about 3 different walks because I work 12-hour shifts. I take 3 walks at work, whether it's around the building or whether it's throughout the hospital that I work in. I take walks, and those walks are very helpful for me to clear my thoughts and get back on track, and for me to have a moment to breathe for myself. So I take my breaks, and I typically will walk. I might even sometimes record myself walking and do myself a little video or something, just something that keep me feeling interested and feeling good for the day. Definitely working with other people on the capacity that I work with other people. That's also a big thing as well. And then scheduling, like I said, that time for yourself, making sure that you are taking time for yourself. Some of the time, at night after I'm done with work, I like to make sure I take a few minutes to be able to read something before I go to bed. That's something new that I've incorporated in actually 2024, that I read a chapter. I'm in between 3 books right now. So I read a chapter from each book every day. And if I'm on a good foot, then I'll read 2 chapters in a day because I'll read once, probably early day, late afternoon, when I have a few minutes, just some downtime. And then at night, I'll definitely take the time to go to bed early and go ahead and start my reading. What about you, Tremaine?
Um, I don't read nearly as much as you do,
Mm-hmm.
but I do take time to I do something, that calms my nerves, has me relaxed, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah. But
Definitely. I mean,
mhm,
if I'm done from a walk, I try to stretch and
mhm.
listen to some good music while I'm maybe doing a chore or two.
Yeah. And then
Those,
meditation.
I mean, those are also things that
Uh-huh.
are good for you to do while you like to decompress from any workout that you do.
Exactly, exactly. And just I was going to mention just meditation and prayer, just being in a moment where you can really focus on yourself. I think that's the biggest thing that I always tell people when it comes down to self-care is you putting in the extra work to take care of you that is needed in order for you to take care of everybody else around you, you know? So
Right.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end the show. We thank you so much for listening to us this week. We'll be back next week on Friday at 8:30 a.m. with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. Have a great one.